Hello, sexy souls. Oh, look at my. It's a slinky. I'm just saying. Okay, so don't worry. One day, you'll catch me looking fabulous again. I know I come on here a lot, just like, what's up, Alyssa? How are you? Good morning, Terry. How are you? Okay, so I got my coffee. I have a slinky on my head today. I just noticed that and I was like, oh, that is the coolest thing. Aw, thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. It was a great day. It was very busy. It was busy. We went to the movies. We are a Marvel family. Because I got all boys. And not that girls don't, but like it's one of those things where it feels like, you know, and it's probably societal conditioning too, but the little boys want to be a hero, or they find heroes really cool when they're really little. And when you got three of them, someone is bound to be into it, right? You know what I mean? Like a little bit, someone along the way. So it's kind of like one of those things that felt like it was inevitable. But then again, there's families where nobody likes it, but we do. So we saw Guardians of the Galaxy, and my 6-year-old wanted to point out on 3 different occasions how I was crying. And at the end of the movie, he goes, "Are you still crying?" I was like, "You know what? You could be mean. Maybe not." Like, yeah, I'm crying. It was, oh my God. It had me. It had me. Just saying. Oh, we're not doing any, hello, we're not doing any private readings right now. So, okay, so I got really good coffee. So, anywho's, and then we played games and we did all kinds of stuff. And then I got tired. Like, like at the end of the day, you're like, oh my God. So I just chilled. And then I talked to my cousin for 2 hours, which then made it where I couldn't call my mom. And I was like, shit, that kind of thing. I texted my mom and everything. And like, but then I got caught up and I was like, by that time, I was like mentally drained when I was done with the conversation and my phone was about to die. So it's one of those things where it's like, it just was. I got to call my mom today. Don't worry. My mom was taken care of. She's with my sister. She had a Mother's Day. So anyways, okay. So something that I got before I came on was like someone's pulling the trigger. Someone, not in a bad way. YouTube. Someone's doing it. Someone's taking the leap. Someone is jumping off that cliff. All the analogies. I just feel like somebody would find something wrong with. But somebody's actually doing it. Like there's a level of excitement in watching somebody do it. It's like it's the happening, right? But I didn't want to go too far down that. I was like, okay. I kind of kept it like okay. And I was like, let's just see how it goes. So when I get on, let's see what comes up, what pops up, that kind of thing. Okay. Thank you, LP. So I did, but that may have come through for me to be able to acknowledge for somebody. Like if somebody's doing something that they have hemmed and hawed about, Spirit's seeing you and wants to call it out just so that you're aware that they see it. Okay. So that's just to let you know. Alrighty, let's do this. It's yummy. I'm gonna toot my own horn. That's some yummy coffee right there. Yummy coffee. That's the funniest shit. I think I did that the other day. Yeah, that's from the other day. I put the Sun Night Tarot cards over here, and I didn't pull any of those. I'm gonna mix this up because I don't feel like they were mixed up good then. Because obviously I shuffled the deck and left the other ones over here. Like when I get done with a tarot reading, I'll shuffle the decks afterwards to kind of reset them. And then I usually do like my sound bath, like with my bell, which is over on my bed because I was, and then like I do my cleansing and stuff like that. Anywho's, yeah. Stay tuned this week. I should be posting soon when I'm going to do the live with Paula. She's my cohort, soul sister, that kind of thing. And you're going to get to watch me do a reading for her, but then also we're going to have like a little powwow afterwards kind of thing. And it'll be interactive and stuff like that. So, all right. Okay. Where are we going? So we're going to start with Secret Tarot. Okay. And let's get going and see what's on here. I just saw the Lovers and the Eight of Wands. Funny. They wanted to interrupt that thought because I wanted to go towards, oh, love, kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little, I don't know. And they're like, a choice. Like there is a decision or a choice coming in hot. Okay. Let's see. I'm just figuring this out. Woo! Ooh. So at the center, we've got the Empress card. Y'all know when something it's the center card's like the overall energy for me. And I feel like this is the birth of something. This is the birth process. This is the rebirth. Like that's the only thing that's coming through. Like, sure, I want to say abundance and whatever else like that, but I don't think that's the pertinent point of what it's trying to say in this reading. It just feels more like, because take a look. She's got the grapes all over. It's like the harvest. It's the reaping of the reward at this point. And then on one side we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is things finally going in your favor. And then on the other side we have the Devil card. Now I feel like this can be all about like old patterns, being beholden to something, ego-based thinking and patterns, illusions, that type of thing. But it's also something that's I'm feeling more like business type of energy. The Devil card can be, first off, that type of energy is all based upon the person's perception, right? Each individual perception. Some people might think that what I do, tarot, or my belief systems, because right now there's a lot of people on all kinds of platforms that are making fun of spirituality and all that kind of stuff for whatever reason, whatever they have within them, and it doesn't make their perspective on it truth, right? And they might think that I am beholden to some type of pattern or some type of illusion, right? But I'm being something very business oriented with this, because the Devil is one who is shrewd, who there is a sense of a bit of a cutthroatness, like a willingness to do what is necessary, is the way that I want to say. Like when you're in business for yourself, the Devil energy can be one that is a positive one, because other people will see what you do as negative as opposed to what's appropriate. Does that make sense? So like it's all on whose lens you're looking at something through. So I don't get the normal beholden to illusions type of energy. I'm getting something else from it. So I'm going to clarify that really quick, okay? Ace of Pentacles, Eight of Wands. I just heard Cardi B's Money Moves. That, right, I know the song's different, but like that little line, Money Moves. Is it Bodak Yellow or whatever it is? Like when she's talking about wearing the Louis Vuitton. Is it Louis Vuitton that has the red sole shoes and stuff like that? Anyways, can you tell? I don't know that shit. Right? But sometimes you can still feel the effects of it right afterwards. Okay, let's talk about the... Okay, let's pull these over here. So I do want to say, I do think that there is a sense of... So what they're giving me with the Devil card is more like the energy of being withheld from this change in your fortune, or from your fortune, or from a change in energy in an upswing. Like I'm getting like a holding pattern with this. Because we've got the Hermit, Nine of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. Like, so the Ace of Swords is like the start of the path, right? The start of a new trajectory, the clearing of the path, right? It is following your truth. It is all of that good jazz. But I feel like it's clearing of the path. It is the new path set before you, and you're acting upon it, if that makes sense. And the sword is upright. So we go from hermit mode of trying to figure something out, of being, it can be in isolation, but I think it's more just they're highlighting the level of inward reflection that had to happen in order to be able to recognize what you really want, what your real wish is, what your true desire is. And it's almost like honing that in. Like you had to kind of hone that in. It's funny that they have that describing the Devil card, though, because it's almost as if it's like the holding pattern I'm getting from the Devil is because two things. It's almost like owning what it is that you really want. So that's where the clarity that had to come in, of what the truth is that what you truly desire. And because you hone in on that, because you finesse that, because you admit it, is what I want to say. Right? Because there's some kind of like, this reminds me of how people are always like, oh, your relationship with money and all kinds of stuff like that and blah, 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 blah. And you hold something within in regards to it. And it's more or less like you hold on to a story that then impacts how you see something. That's why they're giving me the lens, the way in which you view something. And it's like, I get the energy of someone, it's like, I want this. Again, there is a harvest, but then there's like but if I can't have that, then this. And if not that, I understand. And if I have to do this to get it, then I'll do that. And it's like, why don't you just fucking own what you want and not be afraid to say it? Your truth. And not feel like it's like because of that, there was an internal energy of like this hem and haw back and forth, not being solidly in what you claim, what you desired. And so things couldn't turn. It was like, do you or don't you want this? And maybe you might have been buying into other people's like old programming, right? That's because we can know something and acknowledge it and then still have like this whole other energy at which we approach things and operate from, right? So it's knowing and acknowledging something is the first step. You then have to, I know this is going to get into some of those things that some people get triggered with, but you have to become the energy of it, or you have to match that energy, right? Because if it's not within you, energetically speaking, the likelihood of you finding that or getting that is slim. I think it goes beyond the deserving piece. It's like, I deserve this, blah, 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 kind of thing. You knew you deserved it. So why did you waffle every time you said, every time you claimed, I want this. This is what my wish is. This is what, Why was it not clear? Why were you not owning that? Why were you like trying to go, okay, but I'll give you A, B, and C. It's like you almost felt like, one, you didn't deserve it. Two, it was never even possible for you. It wasn't something that you would ever get. That's why you would go, okay, but here's a plan C and a D and an E and F, so if you can't have it, I'll do this. It's like you're giving spirit or yourself. Okay, I'll do all these different things. And there's obviously logical, like spirit and your higher self would never ask you to completely abandon wisdom, for fuck's sake, okay? Like we know we have, like that aspect of us has to remain so we can navigate this bullshit 3D world, right? We like there are real world limitations and things in place that we have to maneuver. We get it, okay? But it's like you just didn't believe it. And that would completely impact how you take, remember, your lens and that dictates how your actions and everything else like that, even when you're not fully aware of it. It's like that would have dictated how you, and that would have impacted, influenced, whatever you fucking want to call it, the actions you would have taken if the energies had switched before this. Does that make sense? And so it's like that's why I was getting the celebration. Okay, so we are bringing in what came in before. It's like they're doing it. Like there's something about it's like people witnessing or spirit witnessing. Like you're actually doing it. It's not somebody telling you you're about to do this. It's like I feel like in the moment, in the present, somebody's actively doing something that they have wanted to do, desired to do, and it's like there's no more excuses. Okay, there's no more, well, if this doesn't happen just like this, then I'll do this, and then it'll give me more time, and spirit, you'll have more time to, like, I feel like there's been bartering and negotiating, and really what was behind that energy wasn't you being you, it was in the guise of I'm being flexible and in the flow. No, the fuck you aren't. You're in disbelief. You were in resistance. That's where because here's the thing, it's not so much the actions, right? It's the energy behind it that fucking matters. And so it was like, okay, we got to get rid of that fucking energy. We got to get rid of that shit. So that's where the devil card is coming in. It was like there were patterns, there were some things, and I think it does have to do, that's why I'm picking up the energy of money. It has something to do with money, business, like, the old paradigm of how society says what success looks like, how you have to attain the success, and like what is for special exceptions and what's for everybody else and everyday people. Does that make sense? And so it was like there was a lot of working through that shit. There was a little bit of, because you can say it like I get it conceptually, intellectually, I understand that's bullshit. Then why is it internally not matching? Why is there still this energy fueling how you approach things that's contrary to what you know? That's what was going on. And so you're in a space where somebody's about to take a dive. They are diving. They keep correcting me. Somebody's already in the midst of executing something. It's been a crazy morning. Okay. I've been knocking shit over. Just, ignore it. They just told me, look, like it was really like, look. Bright new prospects are on the horizon. You're destined to succeed. Oh, okay. Don't look a gifted horse in the mouth. I don't really understand what that comes from. Like a gifted horse in the mouth. Like, don't look a gifted horse in the mouth. Why? They gonna bite you? Like, what? I don't understand. Where did that saying come from? Somebody want to shine some light on it for me? I don't know. Anything else? All right. Somebody want to tell me why I'm really drawn to her dress. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty. I've seen this card a million times. Look at the color. I feel like there's something about the color. I'm just going to throw this up here. Look at her wings. Like, it's just like I'm thinking that's a beautiful color. Like I could see that in real life. I don't know why. Maybe it'll come out. Maybe that's significant to somebody else, but they're drawing me to it. True love and fidelity. Okay. Bright new prospects are on the horizon. You're destined to succeed. And then true love and fidelity. I get the feeling like somebody is like, I don't want that mixed. Somebody's I want to focus on one thing. I want to focus on one thing. I want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, someone's not interested in all the other. Okay, so spirits wanting to hammer something home for me. They're like, look, the collective you're reading for right now is one where it's like everything at once. Multiple things happen at once. This cascade of things coming in. And it's kind of like, when a kid takes a bucket and dumps their toys, like, you got no control over the order at which the shit falls out. In fact, everything might just right on top of it, right? And it's like, you can try, how sometimes you can try and shake. Y'all, have you ever fucking done this? Because I've been the smart ass. I've been so smart before, where, like, my little thing, like, I'll have a little thing that has sugar in it, and I'll try to put it in my coffee, and it might be empty. So I have this big container that has sugar in it, and sometimes I get a wild hair up my ass. All right, and instead of putting the sugar into the bowl first and then spooning it, I'm just gonna shake it, shake a little, and go like that. I'm like, now, knowing damn good and well, I got no control when I try to pull that shit. I think I do. Somebody thinks that they get to have some kind of control, but I also feel like, to a certain degree, there's a letting go that's had to happen, and so it's like, I know you've done it. I know you MFers have done this, okay? So don't be looking at me like that, right? And so while somebody may be like, I don't care. It's almost like somebody doesn't want, if there is love coming in, right? Because fidelity gives me more than just, fidelity feels like trustworthy, integral, like something being backed up, right? Like, this is backed up. Like, this is like legit, is what I want to say. That's what I get with the word fidelity. That's what's coming through. And it's like, somebody's like, look, if it's gonna happen, don't announce it. Like, there's this energy of, like, I don't need it announced, right? It's just not where your main focus is. Because I feel somebody wanting to do adventure right now. And their idea of adventure isn't hinged around this. Funny thing is, before, I have felt with some others, when I read something similar to this, like there's this idea of, like, feeling leashed by love, or feeling like, no, that would just tie me down or slow me down, and I want to just do it all right now. And say, I don't get that sense, okay? I don't get that sense right here. It's just a matter of, like, it's just not my focus. So there's something to that. But much like the dumping your sugar into your fucking coffee, because you just thought you was so smart and decided you're just going to pour it directly into the cup, like you can control that shit. So there's a lot of goodness that's about to come in. There's a lot that's going to transpire. When the waters start flowing, when the energies start flowing, like a dam, all the debris that was backed up, it's all coming through. It's all coming through. Ooh, Regina Spektor. I didn't know that. Ooh, everything, everywhere, all at once. Right? But that sounds familiar. I don't know. I can't picture in my head who plays in it, but that sounds familiar. Okay, so okay. It is funny. I put all of that over here on the Wheel of Fortune. Like the wheel, you can't control what it brings in. Like, it's just like a lot of things turn into a fortunate energy. Like things just kind of start happening like a cascade. Okay. So it's like the birth has already happened or it's happening. It's like when someone gets a phone call, she's giving birth right now. Like there's a push, there's a crowning, it's visible, it's in action right now, is what I want to say. Okay. Oh, Starman, hello. Right, new prospects are on the horizon. You are destined to succeed. Hope everybody's doing well. Okay, curious. Hold on one second. We got the Eight of Swords. I know they're trying to show me something. They're talking about you, like that's the devil energy with the Hermit, really understanding what it is that you desire and being okay with it, and not trying to be like, okay, but if you can't give me this, can I at least have this? And if this can't happen, then I'll do, it's like, it's casting a shadow of doubt. Only because that was the energy that was fueling it. If you were just doing that because you're like, I'm strategic, I'm smart, I'm going to do this, it's like, then that's one thing, but it wasn't. That's not where it was coming from. That's not why you was doing it. Okay. And so for this, they're showing me, it's almost like the nesting dolls, where you open it up and you can keep taking things out. Like that shit was fairly deep. Take a look at this. She's in here, but there's another one down here. And funny that it's hitting the lower half of the body, where I would liken, the lower chakras, like, a very deep seated, hard to identify and see thing, right? Because again, your thoughts and your beliefs, your mind acknowledge and recognize something different. You're like, no, that's not even, like, I don't believe that, but that's not the energy you were operating from, right? And so there's a lot of mental entrapment. It's like there was a conflict between this little gremlin, I want to call it, down here, and what you're receiving, hearing, and how spirit was able to get through. You see all the crows, ravens up here. So hold on one second. They're trying to show me something. Okay. Whatever you're going to do or whatever you are executing right now is going to burn all this shit down. The funny thing that they're showing me is I was trying to figure out what the fuck. There's days, because of my age, I wish I could go, how like you do on your phone and just like zoom in. Because bitch, I'm over here like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, it looks like a claw, but like I can't really, it's actually an alligator or a crocodile or whatever way back here. See this little thingy right here? There's a sword back there, and that's a crocodile going, like almost like up from the waters, right? Which is your subconscious, your how you operate from deep within. It's the waters that run deep, right? But then also in the background, take a look at this. And I don't think this is the sun. They're showing it to me as something different. Take a look. The fuck did I just drop? Oh, I had a Palo Santo in my bra and it just dropped out. I put all kinds of things in there. Anywho, take a look. See back here? That looks like, it's like lightning and something brewing. And like back here, I can't really get it completely. Like it almost looks like it's wanting to burn. Like the mountains are burning. It's burning something down. What you're about to do, like, literally, I feel like just burns down, removes all of this shit, this limitation. It's like you're going to disprove your own self. Okay. And from that comes a massive shift in how you see things. Like, you go from having this innate response because of a story you have assigned that you may not even be aware of. Because in your mind, you're like, oh, that's just so stupid. I don't even believe that. But your energy and your inner being do. And that's how you're operating. And there's something about like you're about to burn that shit down. You're going to prove your own self wrong. Like you're going to, it's like, and when that happens, it's that point of return. It's that point of no return. Like, you know how like sometimes you're like, you learn something, and sometimes at such a deep level, there's no unseeing it. Like once you know something, you can't unknow it. It's like forever singed within you. And so it then colors the lens at which you see everything through to include yourself and how you should act. And so it's literally like there's like that's what happens. That's a part of the embodiment process. You change at it because the major arcana is a very major energy, like broad reaching type of impact in your life and how you maneuver. It's not looking at one specific thing differently. It is looking at the totality of things differently because your lens, which is the entire purpose of 5-5 of the Hanged Man, is your greater, broader lens at which you see the world through is different because something happens to push you beyond. So whatever you're actioning right now pushes you beyond this concept of imposed limitation, of I can't move forward, or of entrapment by this subconscious coloring. It's like you're going to lose a story that you operated from that you may not even fully be aware of. And when I say story, what I'm trying to say is we all have different truths and we define things differently. Okay. And sometimes there's a word in our vocabulary and I don't care if you read it from every dictionary, I don't care if you say it to somebody else, you believe, like you'll give a definition, but we always have an underlying definition of that definition. Like, what's that really mean? Like, and I always give this example of surrender being I used to think that was giving up or giving power and control over to somebody else, or like someone else winning and me not being autonomous. Like that's what I took surrender as. And surrender to me I come to change that definition because I got to the heart of the story behind it, right? At first, I didn't like the idea. I would just buck at the term surrender, right? And when I started speaking, like, I started really processing, going through why I hated that and why I wouldn't surrender. Like when people use it would just crawl up my fucking spine. And it was like all these stories of like the patriarchy and being beat into submission, whether it's by life or by the systems that are in play or by the people in your life, because I've been in very abusive, emotionally abusive situations, narcissistic, manipulative, where it was like, I'm gonna keep at you until you conform to how I see something, and then I'm going to praise you. Look at you doing so well because you conform to this. And it was this condition. I was just like, and it would be against what I felt was really true and right. but I would eventually give in, because if what I believed to be true and right for me and what my truth was, life wouldn't be so hard, right? Like, why do I get beat down so much if this truth that I hold is true? So I must be wrong in some capacity. So I always had these stories to the idea of surrender. It's like, no, it's like giving up. I took surrender as giving up on myself. But surrender doesn't mean that. The definition of surrender doesn't mean that anymore. There's, to me now, nothing in life that you have as much control over and as much choice over as you do surrender, because surrender is one of those things where it is completely, solely, 100% up to you. It is a choice and decision that you have to make. You have total, utter control over the notion of surrender. And surrender is merely letting go and allowing, receiving. Before, the word surrender, even though I could read the definition, meant that my wall needed to be up, that I needed to be ready to fucking fight, that somebody was going to take it, like something bad was going to happen. It was a dirty, bad word. I don't, and I understood that sometimes, like there was a need to not fight things but I just couldn't, because it was filled with all these stories behind it, right? And it was just energy that like consumed me internally. And so I don't care what I understood about it. I had to get rid of that energy. Even when my definition first changed and I came to the realization, it was like, oh, then why did I still have this innate response to it, to even doing it? And I had to unpack that shit. I had to get rid of it, and I had to like purge myself of it. But beyond that, I then had to take action on what I believed to be true, so that I could reprogram at a deep level with myself what surrender really meant. It needed to be something that I held within me, not just intellectually, but like within my cells, within my DNA, right? And so I had to start learning how to be in allowance and how to receive. And then I had to figure out, what does it mean to receive to me? And then I had to, it's like, but like underneath the auspice of what seems to be something, a very simple concept that I grasped early on, took time to unpack and to change. And once that did, everything, my lens, the way I operated, the stories behind my beliefs, everything, my complete utter energy changed, which then changed my lens. And remember, that's when we get the world card, sometimes that's what that fucking means. Because when how you see the world changes, everything fucking changes, even when it all looks the same. How you frame things, how you take action towards things, whether or not you take energies on, or whether or not you take action or sit back, like it's fucking everything just changes when you see things differently, when you see yourself differently. And so that's what I want to say is happening. It's almost as if you've done as much as you can, and like there's just this one action that you're doing, it's like solidified. Then it becomes rooted in you. I'm curious as to the action. I'm gonna finish pulling this, and then we'll see what the thing is, because I feel like the birth is the action, almost like when a baby is crowning, right? You're pushing. The action is also the birth. Does that make sense? You are giving birth. Sorry, the wheel again, Wheel of Fortune. And the funny thing is, whatever this thing is, like, we would think that when you're in the midst of giving birth and you've pushed and pushed and pushed and you're exceptionally exhausted and you get to the very end and they're like, no, it's about to happen. It's going to happen. Just one last push. And you're like, there's no way. I've pushed for an hour. It's not coming out. You need to get somebody. The baby's stuck. Whatever it is, it's not happening. And they're like, believe me. And so what they do is they tell you to pull your legs up and you're like, how the fuck is this going to help? Like, you just don't see how one little something changes everything. You're like, I've been pushing. How would pulling my legs up help? Like, it's not, like, seriously? Like this baby's not coming out. And you pull your legs up. That one little action, seemingly unrelated, you push one last time and phew. So what I want to say is they're giving me the energy of whatever action you take is not necessarily indicative of what's about to happen. You may feel like it's really insignificant. And you may not see how whatever it is that you're doing is the thing that will give birth to the bucket of sugar, the bucket of toys, to everything, to all the things that are going to come in. You're like, how does that one little fucking thing? Because it isn't what you're doing technically external to you. It's what you're doing to yourself internally. That's why everything comes through. That's why the wheel turns. So you may be confused. And in fact, you may feel like, I want to say there's a little bit of resistance to the action only because you're like, this could be even something that you're like, this isn't even what I want to do. But I'm like, I don't know why it feels like you do something. It's like getting in an elevator, right? And like the elevator is not going anywhere. And you're like, what the fuck? And so all you have to do to get the elevator move is push a button. That's it. Right? You're like, okay. And so you push the button. But instead of the doors in front of you opening, there's doors behind you that open. And you turn around and you're like, well, I wasn't expecting that. It's like, but the buttons are over here and I came in these doors. So how is something, but like, how is this motherfucker, like, how is this opening up behind, like, what? I think there's a level of an unrelated action that you take may actually bring in a wish that you've held. It's almost like an action you take that you think is unrelated to your wish is what makes your wish come through. So let's clarify that one. Like I got to clarify that and then we can wrap it up. It gives birth to this. It just gives birth to it. And I think it's just because you move beyond the entrapment. It's funny that it's like, I get the air of you do something and something births, and it has more to do with not so much what you do external, but what triggers within you because of what you do. It's like, how do I make this happen? What do I got to do? And Spirit's like, anything. You haven't been taking action. Do anything. And there's a sense of power in you doing something, making a decision. And it's like, and I don't even know why I don't want to put emphasis on the decision. It's like, but there is a decision to actually do something, anything. And when you do that, it's like kind of stepping into emperor type of energy. It's the, when you take the sword and you're like, how do I get through here? And they're like, cut away the things. And you're like, how do I cut away all the vines and everything? They're like, swing, just swing, just swing. And you fucking swing. And then shit just, like, it just starts happening. Things start, and the path reveals itself. Like, there's just, things start falling away. One good freaking whack, and a whole bunch of stuff starts dropping. And it's like, that's the sense, is that is almost like you just had to do something. And it's something outside of your normal pattern. And from there, and it feels just unrelated. It feels, when I say unrelated, you just might be like, okay, well, whatever, and you just do something. Like, again, you do something, and it brings in the clarity that you need and the path forward that took you so long to finally admit to. So there's like a desire you had to own. There's something that but you still don't know how to bring it in. And it was like, just do something. And so you're like, okay, you do something. And then it just like, it all becomes clear. It all just happens. Like, you were thinking, like, your action had to be something very specific to trigger things or to get the ball rolling. And it really wasn't. It really wasn't that. Again, maybe that was also a part of the self-entrapment, that like there was some secret sauce or some secret code. Like, I've got to do this one specific thing. And it was like, no, just take action. And the other stuff, it's like a key in the door, or like a trigger point that allows other things to know that you're ready. I don't know, but it changes something within you when you just do. And then everything comes in. So let's, again, anything else on that so I can help them understand? Okay. 2 seconds. I was reading stuff last night, and they want me to pull this deck, and I was like, and they literally told me, you left, like, where's the cards from last night? And I was like, I put them in there, but, and that it was over there. They're like, no, it's not. And I'm like, oh. Well, that might be. Moon hair. Right? It's also very Virgo energy too. Like there's got to be a right move, and it's like, there's not a right move. Just do something. And it's like, it's almost like you go from being in hermit, like whatever the action is, takes you from the hermit to the emperor. Like, you're just like, I'm just gonna do, and from there, it's like the next steps or the next evolution reveals itself. They want me to start there. Okay. I'll get it. I know, I'm in my yoga and exercise stuff, whatever. Let's see what the moon here, 29. Let's see what it says. Rebirth, fertility. The whole analogy has been about giving birth. Okie dokies. Let's go with it. Okay. The moon here is a symbol of fertility and renewal. So this is a time of regeneration, rebirth. It can indicate like verbatim fertility, you know what I'm saying? Like with children and all. Or it could mean that you are entering into a time of creative fertility when your imagination is fired up for new projects and ideas. The moon hair is a symbol of abundance. So it's like a period of creativity that leads to a lucrative opportunity. So you just had to do something. You had to take some type of action. You just had to act. You just had to do something. In the past, it was said that witches could transform into hares in order to escape their persecutors. And so, as a shape-shifting creature, the moon hare symbolizes some kind of self-transformation or transcendence. It suggests swift movement, so expect sudden changes to plans and be prepared to go with the flow, which is why they keep giving me, oh, damn, I had this held over the frickin', my book is hot because the heat from the candle, I was like this, it did not melt. It's okay. Just be okay, please. Don't do anything stupid. It's the idea of because you act and then like unrelated shit starts happening and you're like in the elevator scenario, you're like, what the fuck? Like, why am I going out there? In your head, you're all like, the building doesn't go that direction. How did I get in here? Like, where is this going? What the fuck is the purpose of this? Like, you're just kind of like, and it was just a matter of doing. You just had to do. Okay, I want one more. And so it's almost like, and so in this, you're not really tied or tethered to a particular outcome. That's where that sense of like fluidity comes from. You've been trying to figure out the right move, and they're like, any move. And you probably even got to the point of what is considered a move, what is considered an action. Anything beyond this bullshit, Eight of Swords, and it does something. You just had to trigger something within you that showed you were beyond the hermit mode, that you were like, I'm gonna make a move and it's gonna come about. Like that shows your belief that it's possible. You're no longer in the waffle mode, which we were getting earlier, where it's like you obviously had doubt. You're like, nope, I'm doing. So that means you no longer like, even if you have fear, you can feel the fear and do it anyways, right? Like there's no need to be perfect and not have that experience, but it is the level of self-confidence and knowing and wherewithal to be like, I'm doing, like this is going to happen. Metamorphic is the next one, 33. Let's do this. Trapped, hardship, transformation. Okay, let's see where we're going with this. You've been in a time of transformation through darkness. Something will occur that will change you on a deep and profound level. Hanged Man. You might have felt trapped or powerless, like a chrysalis stage. Rest assured, it was temporary. You will emerge from the dark chrysalis, and you'll be free to try the new wings that you've gained. Know that you have grown in strength and resilience throughout the process, and you are wiser than you were before. By the end of it, I don't understand what that means, but okay. I feel like there's something else that needs to be said, and I'm like, I have to wait for that, like, you know what I mean? Afterwards, I'm like, okay, why do I feel like I'm being left on a cliffhanger? You know, like when. Anything else about this? Oh, good God. All right. That better be it. I'll tell you that much. Okay. I really, really, really like this deck. So they're mentioning, okay, so this metamorphosis you've been going through, and that you are done with, I feel like that was like the pregnancy period, right? Just like the Empress, you kind of like incubate something for a certain amount of time and then you give birth. So that was the metamorphosis stage. The Toad right here is value, truth, and acceptance. Sometimes the Toad shuns the bright light of the full day, preferring to conceal himself away in the shadows like the hermit mode, right? This card reminds you that beauty is within and that you should not hide your unique and beautiful way for fear of judgment by society. He's magical, musical, and on occasion poisonous. Tread softly and judge on behaviors, not first appearances. And look beyond the scars life has left behind and see the beauty. It says, be prepared to look beyond the surface. Trying to figure out where this is going. I feel like that's not a projection of something in the future. Like look under the surface. It's like I think that's a throw to what they're saying. Where don't okay, I get it. What the Toad is telling you, it's just reiterating what I said. Where it's like something that you do external seemingly isn't significant. Like, why is that the thing that triggered everything? And it was more like look below the surface of what really actually occurred by you taking that action. It's the transformation that happened within, right? And I think it has something to do with certain scars. It's like it rids you of that subconscious piece, that crocodile, that it's like you burn that shit down. It no longer is something that colors your lens. You get rid of it. Okay. And so I think that's what the Toad is talking about is as these events unfold, you may get tripped up on the fact that it's like, well, why was that? And if it was that simple and that easy, and it's like, maybe it wasn't that simple and that easy. Purging ourselves of something so well hidden within ourselves, so subconscious, deep, 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 deep within, is rarely fucking easy. Right? The easier part is the acknowledgement, the understanding, the conceptualization of something. Oh, no, I don't. I believe in this. Do you? Now go within and really look. Do you? Is the energy behind how you're acting reflective of what you say you believe and what you know to be true? Or are there stories that color things underneath? Right? So 50, glimmering. It's a card of hope, anticipation, and joyfulness. It might indicate the it represents opportunity for you to show what you were made of and to demonstrate what you can do. It allows you to spread more light in the world. It's suggesting that you find ways to share your own unique light with the world. It's like coming out of hermit mode and then just going and sharing and doing. It says it's a card of it can indicate auditions, interviews, presentations, promotions, graduations. I'm sorry, I'm talking to them because I'm feeling like because I'm like, I don't know why. This might be deja vu. I'm like, did I say something about there was a card, right? Was it the moon here? What card was it where I feel like I said, I might be making this shit up in my head, where like when you give birth to something, it allows something else to come in, or like an opportunity. Was it the moon here where an opportunity presents itself? I feel like it's saying that shit. Give me a second. Like I'm like, am I mixing? Am I having deja vu right now? Am I mixing an old reading with this? Like I feel like I just said something and I'm questioning myself as to whether I said it. No, I did. It says, okay, a symbol of it's a period of creativity that leads to a lucrative opportunity. So they're saying it's like okay. You taking action to go forth and like just do is almost like choosing to just shine regardless. It's taking ownership. It is being it's you stepping back into hope, anticipation, and joyfulness. Okay? You're just like, you don't have a guarantee, you're just doing. You don't know if this is the exact thing you should do. In fact, you don't even give a shit. You just do. You're doing something. Okay? And from that comes the whole like an opportunity that shows up because you just do. If you start taking action, be careful that you don't get back into your head of, like I feel the feeling of somebody hearing this and then going, oh, like thinking that, okay, I'm just going to take action. And then they hear something else and they get tripped up and they're like, oh, it's like the promise of an opportunity has you tripping over yourself. It's as if you've been waiting for some kind of opportunity. And the idea or notion of something presenting itself to you as an opportunity to do something on a grander scale or that showcases your talents or like some kind of like, yeah, like that has been the one of the hinge points of you not taking action. That's one of the things that you use as a way to go, what is the right action? Because you want to control to make sure you get this. And like you don't buy in or understand, they're like, any will bring, and you're like, how? It's like your puny little human brain is going, but how? Because I'm getting real tripped up over right now on this idea of an opportunity. And I'm like I suddenly want to ask like a lot of questions. That's a thing that you've been hinged on. You've been overly focused on that and not maintaining your momentum and moving forward. It gives the knight in shining armor complex, or that I mean, it's not just the knight in it is the knight in shining armor complex, but it's like your fear of messing something up, which then goes back to the like feeling like good things just don't happen for you, or that what you truly believe isn't for you, or that the universe won't provide for you, or that this won't like it happens to everybody else. But like it's that devil energy, that belief system, that it's like I want to say Your fear of making the wrong step and not letting this move in prevented you from taking any steps. And in fact, you would classify what you were doing as taking steps towards something or doing, when really you were on the hamster wheel. You were repeating the exact same things you always have done. So if you do like it's like saying, Spirit's like, get out of the house so you can encounter somebody. And you're like, I do. I go to the grocery store. I go out at this time. I go for the walk. It's like the exact same shit all the fucking time. Like it was, you were still in a cocoon. You made sure of it. And if you approach just doing life without the intention of achieving something or being worthy of something, what you truly want and desire will naturally come to you. Because you'll have inspired actions then. It truly, really was the Eight of Swords that kept you so, you know what I mean? In this other type of energy. Let's do the silver dollar and we'll be done. Oh, okay. This is a good card. This is a wonderful card denoting prosperity, abundance, wealth, and positive goals manifesting. Whatever you wish for is now within the realms of possibility. It can be a better job, promotion, pay increase, material goods. I told y'all in the beginning, I felt very like money, like material things oriented. Definitely. When it shines in your reading, it means that any troubles with money are soon to be a thing of the past. Good fortune's on the way, and this card suggests lasting good fortune rather than something more fleeting. Look out for sudden income sources. Sorry, it's like it's going through this whole like, oh, unless there's a negative card next to it. Like, there's no negative cards. None that are listed. Help these energies manifest in your life more quickly. Make sure that you are a good steward of the money that you already have. They're talking about taking care of your current situation and circumstances and how that actually adds to and attracts this increase. And it's almost as if when you were in this Eight of Swords energy, not only did it impact forward movement, but it impacted anything in the present moment as well. Like you got so stifled down, you weren't even able to. That's why your day-to-day felt like, even, I want to say shitty, like things were just going wrong. So wrong. Still waters will go stagnant. Let's just put it that way. If water stands still long enough, it's going to get rancid. It's going to have things overgrow in it. It's going to attract nasty bugs. It's going to become infested with yuck, overgrowth of bacteria. It's like you just needed to be doing. You almost quit doing life, day-to-day life. Like you started noticing trip ups and things like that in your day-to-day life because your lack of willingness to just do, to take any action. Alrighty, I'm going to leave it there. So whatever you're about to do or whatever you are in the process of doing right now, believe you me, it has more to do with what it's going to do for you internally than it is anything external. And because you do, you get out of the stagnant waters and the waters stop being rancid and things are able to flow. It's like releasing the dam. And we didn't even get back into the true love and fidelity part because I think they're just like, it's an added, like other things are coming in. And the biggest focus is you're just in action of something right in this moment. You thought you were before and you really weren't. It's like they give me the analogy of like going to the like when you're looking for a job and you go to the same job board, and so every single day you're looking on the exact same job board, and it's like there's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing, and it's like not only does it prevent you from finding a job, but it probably impacts your day to day because every day you're stressed, you got tension. It's like you didn't even attempt to look at another job board. You didn't even attempt to go door to door. You didn't even attempt to walk in someplace and ask them. Like it's like had you done that, had you gotten out and asked people, are you hiring or do you know anybody? Had you asked your friends, your family, anybody? You did more than this little bitty here. Something could have popped off. There was something in the doing, not what you're doing, but the doing. And you were using the excuse of whatever is you engaged in, whatever minimal something that you repeated incessantly over and over and over again as the doing, and it wasn't the doing. That wasn't doing. That was stagnation. You was trying to color it like you was doing. You wasn't doing. You was in the Eight of Swords firmly. So, alrighty. Oh, thank you, Cappy. So that's the reading. I hope 111. It just turned 1. There was 5 ones. I hope that helps and stay posted. I will be having other things this week pop up. I will make sure that I give alerts so that you know, so you can join, and I'll try to make it at a good, decent time so that it's suited to everybody. So, all right. Hope everybody has a fantastic day, and I will see you later this week.